Good morning. Dobro jutro svima. I could now, of course, say I'd love to talk to you in Bosnian, but I have to switch to English because most of the people here speak English. Unfortunately, I would probably not be able to address you in Bosnian, at least not through the full speech. But it is important for me to at least wish you a good morning in Bosnian, because Sarajevo is not only the place where we are, where we happen to be, it is the perfect place to hold such a conference. Well, now the formalities. Good morning, Minister Masic, welcome. Good morning and welcome to those who contributed to organizing or actually organized this conference. Mr. Mark Miller, Mr. Tetzlaff, Dagmar Engels, Tekla Kelbert, and last but not least, Emir Avdagic. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very pleased, really pleased to welcome you to today's international conference, Remembering for the Future. And as it has been said, there is hardly another city, another place in Europe better suited to host this conference. You mentioned the events that led to the outbreak of the First World War. Yes, this year we commemorate the centenary of these events that only a few steps from here ignited what some call the Great War, you said it, and others, the catastrophe that initiated a century of wars and conflict. A century that ended with a war just here in this city, less than 20 years ago. This war and the siege of Sarajevo left deep scars in the face of the city. You can see it, take a walk. And even deeper wounds in the hearts of minds and people. You can see these wounds and you can feel them every day. And it doesn't take much time to find out what is obvious. These wounds stand in the way of this country's development because these wounds hurt, and the wounded will see themselves as the victims and the others as the perpetrators. Normality, the state of affairs people in this region and in this country strive for, is difficult to achieve under such conditions. Definitely not if ill-intentioned people, I call them nationalists, use these wounds to deepen the rift between ethnic groups instead of bridging these rifts, because it suits their interests. Therefore, again, there's hardly another place in Europe, and even in this region, where you can see as clearly as here the need for remembrance as a means to make future. And it strikes me that the key features of what I would call a culture of remembrance are communication with the others, those who in the past were the enemies, remembering together, not in isolation or in introspection, because otherwise prejudices and false images of the others will prevail. And more than anything else, readiness to see the other side's sufferings as well, not just the own ones. Ladies and gentlemen, today what I see here in this country is that the parties to the conflict in the 90s see themselves but as victims. And if need be, a very selective view of history is a means to allow such partial visions and eclipse events that do not fit in this image. The other side, almost by definition, must be the perpetrator. This seems to have become an attitude which makes good and sustainable politics a difficult thing, turning now to practical things and going away from morale. It's about politics, everyday's politics, which under such circumstances are extremely difficult. And why is this? because in such circumstances it is difficult to compromise and find solutions that take into account every side's legitimate concerns and interests. Ladies and gentlemen, let me close by saying that only a joint understanding of the past allows for a joint vision of the future. The German-French experience, the German-Polish experience are good examples for this. And another remark I just cannot but making. At this place, you know, this beautiful place, magnificent place, which was a ruin only very few years ago. At this place, invaluable cultural heritage, common to all peoples of this country, was destroyed 20 years ago. That's why this is a perfect place, not only a perfect city, but also a perfect place to talk about remembrance. It is perfect also because you see here that rebuilding, adding bricks, and adding new paint is not enough to remember. Thank you very much for your attention. I wish you fruitful discussions and a happy stay in Sarajevo. Thank you very much.